Hey, friend, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Double Dry Hop Ghost in the Machine is an 8.5% double New England style IPA from Parish Brewing Company in Broussard, Louisiana. I've gotten the opportunity to try a couple other Parish Brewing beers before, including Dr. Juice, and I have had the original Ghost in the Machine. Now, Ghost in the Machine is known for being one of the premier double New England style IPAs in the country, and right now I've got the double dry hop version, so I'd like to get to it. But first, I'd like to thank my executive producers, Eric Latowski, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, and Zach for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive patron-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. I'd also like to give a big thanks to David Orr for sending this one over to me. So let's take a look at the label. Now, if you have ever seen Ghost in the Machine, this is pretty much the same label, but what's different on this is it's got this kind of reflective label, which is really hard to show you in video because it's got this kind of rainbow effect, but on the front it has a skull. It's like the shot is going through the skull, and the skull itself is just full of all these hop buds, all these hop cones, and they're just being blasted everywhere. It's like all these hop bullets are flying into the skull and just spraying it all over the place. And then on the back or on the side, it says brewed and canned by Parish Brewing Company in Broussard, Louisiana. It has the Parish Brewing Company logo, the parishbeer.com website, and it tells you to please recycle, and it also has the government warning. Then on the bottom here, this was manifested or canned on May 5th, 2021. This is pretty new. I just got this earlier last week, and this is my first chance to try it. So I'm going to try it out in my IPA glass, and we're going to go ahead and crack it and put a nose on the can just to see what the canning aromas kind of lend to us, and then we'll get a look in the glass. I'm just going to show real quick on the overhead. I love cracking these cans and being able to see this kind of milky white kind of beer that's just living inside the cans. Let's give it a sniff. Lots of dank kind of aroma here. A little bit of there's definitely a dank smell in there, but a little bit of a dank piney note, but a big kind of citrus aroma in there too. So let's go ahead and pour this. That is so milky coming out of the can itself. That is crazy looking. I don't know how well this picks up on the camera, but to me, I almost didn't want to over pour it or pour it too quickly because I didn't want to lose it. But this is like, this is like, I don't know, like a light pineapple juice. It is very light. It is like, I don't know, it's pale yellow, very pale yellow. I've only got about a finger worth of head. The bubbles are popping very rapidly. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with me kind of being a little bit too careful on the pour, but let's go ahead and hold it up to the light. Yeah, I am, there is no, I can barely see my finger, like the shadow of my fingers through this glass. The one thing about these IPA glasses is across the top, obviously, it's got a darker color because there's more, more liquid that can be held up there. But on the bottom, usually you can see like a gradation of color. It'll start like a bright orange or whatever color on the top and kind of thin out. This is uniform from top to bottom. It is the same kind of color. It just looks like milky juice, right? Sorry, that's what it looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and put a nose on it. Yeah, just the same kind of aroma. Big dank aromas, a big dank kind of piney note in there. And a little bit of a citrus coming through as well. I'm kind of almost thinking in my head, like pre-thinking what the flavor is going to be, and I don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and try it out. I'll talk about the mouthfeel first, then I'll talk about the flavor. Cheers. Mouthfeel is surprisingly, it's very soft. It's very nice and pillowy, but it's also kind of a little bit crisp. It's a little bit lighter than I would think, just looking at like how thick and how deep this color is. I would think that the mouthfeel would be a little bit thicker, but it's not. It's pleasant. It's not too thick. It's kind of nice in that medium well, actually a little bit lighter than medium, but it has a nice soft and pillowy mouthfeel. Let's talk about the flavors now. So it almost there's like this smoky kind of note that I feel I'm getting at the beginning, I'm getting at the middle, and I'm getting at the end. It's not really super bursting with any one like pull in any one direction. I'm getting almost this bit of a floral kind of note to it that I didn't pick up on any kind of aroma, but the flavor that I'm getting out of it feels to be like a citrus and a floral. Not so much piney. It's very smooth. There's not a whole lot of bitterness to it. But let's try it out again. Then we have this whole glass we can explore. So let's give it another taste. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit more of a kind of a bitter note up front. A little bit more of that pininess is coming through on the upfront flavor. It's more on the aftertaste when that piney kind of note subsides. It has a bit of a floral quality to it, and it has a bit of that citrus that comes through. But the citrus is very muted. It's very pulled back. That piney bitterness that's up front, all the bitterness is just up front on the flavor, on the initial kind of taste, and then on the swallow, that's when this really, like I said, there was like a little bit of a smoky note, but I've almost kind of lost that now. I'm not picking that up so much. At first, it was like on the first taste, on the second taste, that smokiness was in there, and I still really couldn't tell you what that was all about, but I feel like that's kind of morphed a little bit into this more of a floral note. So let's give it one more taste here. Just a really big, intriguing beer. Yeah, I think that smoky, what I was picking up initially as being kind of this smoky flavor is more, I don't know how that happened, but it's more of a floral thing now that I've kind of been able to taste a little bit more, maybe identify it a little bit more. It's coming through as a little bit more of an, a floral kind of note, but it does have these citrusy kind of qualities. It's not, it's kind of it's weird because I would think a beer that kind of looks like this would, and I know looks aren't necessarily don't translate into beer, but I would think it would be more of this kind of tropical thing. I didn't pick up on any kind of tropical aroma. Again, I get that pine note up front. I get a little bit of a citrus, a kind of dampened citrus note, but I get mostly on the finish after that initial flavor, after that initial piney kind of bitterness subsides, it is very floral. And it's not overpoweringly floral. It's not like off-puttingly floral. It's just a different kind of flavor. And that's not a bad thing at all because, and I would also expect with just how thick this looks that with all the, dry hopping that you can start. I've talked about this just recently in a previous video being about hop burn, right? And having just too much dry hopping can sometimes overly dry hopping or something. You drink it a little bit too fresh and you get this kind of burning sensation in your throat, like more in your throat, not so much heartburn, but just more in your throat. And I'm not picking that up. So I don't want to confuse you and say like, oh, I'm noticing heartburn. I'm definitely not noticing that, but it's got these very subtle and delicate kind of flavors in there that I it's good. It's a good thing because it's trying all these New England style IPAs or all these IPAs that are very similar, and you start to kind of like, oh, I know that I like the tropical note better, or I know that I like the citrus note better, or I know I like this. This is just different than anything else in the New England style space, double New England style, single, triple, whatever. Totally different from any of that stuff that I previously had. And that's a really refreshing change of pace. So again, getting a piney kind of bitterness up front, then that all smooths out. Like it's almost instant. Once the swallow goes down, once it even hits the back of your tongue, it's like you don't get any more of that pine, but you're getting this kind of citrus note. You're getting a very subtle floral note. And it's just, again, it's super intriguing. It's not like any other double New England style IPA that I've had. It's borderline. I could see if it was even more hopped, you could, or if you're really sensitive to dry hopping and hop burn, you might pick up on something like that, but I'm not getting any of that. And I think that's why it's so unique. It's so kind of pleasing is because it's right in between. It's 8.5%. I had to find that out unfortunately had to find that out on Untapped. It's nowhere on the can. I wish it was someplace labeled clearly on the can because I don't really like to rely on Untapped because I found that more times, well, not more often than not, but very, it's not an uncommon occurrence for that to be wrong. And I'd prefer to be able to know exactly what the ABV is, but it doesn't taste like it's high ABV. It's very dangerous. I could drink a few of these because it is so smooth, because that bitterness comes at the very upfront and it changes that flavor into that citrus and floral. I could probably drink a bunch of these really quickly and not notice, which again, at 8.5% can be very dangerous. And that, yeah, I mean, that's just, it's just very intriguing. I really enjoy that this is kind of out of the box. And I've enjoyed really everything I've had from Parish. The few opportunities I've had to try them have all been really kind of, blown my expectations out of the water a little bit. This one kind of maybe hit my expectations, but I do appreciate that it's very smooth and it has those different kind of flavors that you don't necessarily always get out of a New England style IPA. It's not blow it up tropical, not blow your face off with all the citrus kind of flavors. It has that bitter pine at the very beginning, very subtle again. That citrus kind of note, and then it moves on to floral, which is something that I can't put my finger on another beer that I've ever had that's been quite like this. All right, friends, that has been Double Dry Hop Ghost the Machine from Parish Brewing in Broussard, Louisiana. Have you had this one before? What are some of your favorite premier New England style IPAs? What are some, New England style IPAs that kind of really just blew your mind in some way or another? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays is all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by, and remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are. These guys are in Broussard, Louisiana, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers!